Welcome to this edition of The Tax Lawyer. My name is Scott Drake, and my guest is the tax lawyer Robert W. Wood with Wood LLP in San Francisco, California. Rob, welcome back.
Thanks, Scott.
One particular topic that has been getting lots of discussion is the Buffett Rule, or the Buffett tax, which essentially looks like if you make $1 million or more, you're going to get taxed at 30%, 10 million, 35%. Many seem to think, well, that sounds good. The rich need to pay more in taxes. But, I mean, Rob, in just looking at it, there aren't that many people in the country who make that kind of money. What is it, 60,000, something like that? Is this largely symbolic? It doesn't sound like it would create a whole lot of revenue.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference of opinion. Any of these proposals that are based on revenue projections are, to my mind anyway, somewhat suspect. Unfortunately, we're all driven by statistics, and so they're always looking at, how many people are affected and what the dollars are. But I think you're right. It's mostly political or symbolic. Sort of ties into the Occupy Wall Street movement, perhaps. And on the other end of the spectrum, as we know, of course, we have a lot of debate about flat tax. So highly progressive taxes, more rates and higher rates for upper income earners, as Buffett has proposed on the one hand, and on the other hand, a flat rate for everyone on the other. So we don't know where we're going to end up.
One of the points that you make here in your article in Forbes is the AMT, or the alternative minimum tax, which, regardless of what happens with the Buffett Rule, next year, 20% of taxpayers will be facing that, which sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the, whether you are in favor of flat tax or not, and I suppose most people are probably not, but whether you are or are not, one of the advantages of a flat tax is simplicity. And the AMT, the alternative minimum tax, is probably the antithesis of simplicity. It's really a dual tax system, which, Scott, as you point out, has grown in numbers, so that because it's not indexed for inflation, among other problems. So every year more and more people are subject to it, and it is no longer the tax solely for fat cats, for very high income people that it was supposed to be in 1969 when enacted.
Talk about some of the aspects of what the Buffett Rule would be, and who's really going to be affected. We know essentially what's going to happen to people who are high wealth individuals or families. What does this mean for everybody else?
Yeah, I don't know that it means much. And first of all, I think I think you used the word symbolic, which I think is a good word here. I think everyone knows, and I'm sure Warren Buffett knows, that the idea of sort of a millionaire's surtax, a special rate at the very top, is not going to happen. Not in the current Congress, anyway. It's very hard to talk about any tax increase legislation, but certainly that kind of tax increase legislation, aimed at a sort of an elite group of taxpayers, I don't think is going to pass. So I mean, I think the debate about that one, may be as sort of ludicrous as the debate about, Herman Cain's 999 plan, which I think is kind of neat, but it's certainly not going to happen in the current Congress.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, you can find Rob Wood at Wood LLP in San Francisco. He writes regularly for Forbes and other publications. I'm Scott Drake. Thanks for watching.